joined in studio now for a discussion by eNCA's editor-in-chief, and that is Mapi Mahlangu, to recap on some of the memorable moments. 10 years, we're celebrating. What are some of your biggest highlights, Boss Lady?
Oh, Xoli, I wouldn't know where to start, given the fact that over the past 10 years, we have gone through a difficult period as a country, but yet exciting. So one could go through some of the tragic moments that we have gone through and experienced as a country that we and our reporters, camera people, and our crew brought to live television. And one of that example was Marikana. I don't think, as we were covering that story leading up to the day of the massacre, that we ever anticipated the kind of actions and tragedy that would follow after just an ordinary standoff between workers and employers over salary increases. I think that, for me, I look at that as a milestone, because we continue even today to look at the sector through what happened in Marikana, to look at the impact that Marikana has had to the way that that sector is governed, to the communities around the areas where there's mining. So that, for me, is one story that stands out. But there are a number of stories. I think one thing that I always look at it as, and I say I'm proud to be part of this team, is when I see reporters, anchors ask really difficult questions and uncomfortable questions. I think it was started by Iman, when Iman confronted the then president of the country, Thabo Mbeki, about the Jackie Silepe situation. And we have seen recently a rising star in our station, Samgele, asking some of a very difficult question. And I think is that lived experience of eNCA reporters, where they know that they can ask different difficult questions, where they report without fear or favor, that makes me proud as an editor when I look at the kind of the institution that we have built over the past 10 years.
Talking about asking difficult questions, here's one that is going to come now, and it's about this station often being seen as part of a white monopoly capital. How do you respond to that kind of narrative, and what brings it about?
I think sometimes as a country we have a tendency to be lazy and write any slogan that is popular at the moment of time. So if you're going to say we are white monopoly capital ally, you are a person who have failed to look at company results and the makeup of this company. You can accuse us of a lot of things, but you cannot accuse the company that has one of the biggest shareholders as a union, a worker union. You cannot accuse a company that is 11.2 BEE and say it is a white monopoly capital. First is the lack of understanding of even that word, because if we look at monopoly, if you really look at the media industry in this country, and you know what is monopoly, you will know that eNCA can never fit that explanation. So it's something that I reject, and it's something that I always, when I look at it, I said, it's lazy thinking. I said, it's people using slogan that they hardly understand. And I always say, it's actually people grandstanding. I'm always willing to engage with our viewers in terms of any criticism that we do, but I tend to really not engage in a space where a person who is raising the issue doesn't even know the nature of the issue that he's raising.
Just as I round up this discussion, Mapi, you will know that there has been some difficult moments inside the eNCA itself. There was the Duke event, or Duke moment. What were some of the lessons learned from that, would you say?
I mean, as a commercial station, we've faced a lot of challenges. I mean, let me address the Duke issue as much as possible, given the fact that it's also a matter that is currently sitting through CCMA. I I think the manner in which it was raised, there was an argument about it being a traditional, not a traditional attire, but cultural attire. And there were questions in the newsroom that say, okay, which culture are we looking at? Because obviously once you get into that space, you're going to ask if I, as an unmarried Zulu woman, if there's any law that said I must wear a dog. There is none. And so, as a newsroom, we always argue. We never allow someone to say something, even when the person is right, to take it as the truth. We always engage. And I think we engaged too much, and we didn't listen to our employers, and we miss the importance of the cloth to the present-day South Africa. And for me, the lesson there that I got is that when people raise something, you actually don't jump to play devil's advocate, which I always do in the newsroom, as you know. Just listen, and when you listen, you will understand better what people are trying to say to you. So that's one. But I think as we look to the next 10 years, it's very important to look at where the industry, the business of media is, and some of the challenges that the industry faces, and how, as a company that is turning 10, because there's always danger when companies turn 10, of either just failing, going on a decline, or reinventing yourself. So as we try to reimagine ourselves, reinvent ourselves, that is going to be a difficult but yet exciting process, because as you know, we have big plans that we are unveiling on the 16th of July, where we are unveiling new studios, we're unveiling new lineup, and that is part of us remaining relevant to our viewers and remaining relevant to the current South Africa.
Just as a final question, Mapi, we're out of time, and I want you to answer this as quickly as possible. It's a proud moment, very proud moment for this station, that you are the first female editor-in-chief that is black for this station. How has the ride been thus far?
Well, I think the ride has been interesting because I'm doing what I've always loved. I've been in this business for the past 20 years. I've done the camera, I've done editing, I've done studio cameras, I've done output editing.
Studio camera work?
Yes, I've done assignment. I've done everything in this industry. And I was never afraid when I was giving this position. I was never in doubt about my knowledge of the industry and what is expected out of me. For me, personal highlights is that I was appointed as the channel director then 3 years ago, in the same month where two new 24-hour stations launched. And since their launch, we have maintained our 50% viewership, 50% average viewership, and no one has been able to come close to that number. So I feel proud. I'm very happy by the development that are happening in the media. If you look at the SABC, the head of SABC News is Phasiswa Magubeni, is a woman. So it's no longer first, there's no longer a novelty. We just need to get in and do what is expected to, people expect us to do. You look at the Mail and Guardian, you look at Huffington Post, women are occupying very senior positions in the media. And I don't think being first is anything special, but being consistent in terms of delivering the results and meeting your KPIs is now what is important.
Well, pressure is on to maintain that stranglehold on that audience share ratings. Thank you very much for your time. That was eNCA's Editor-in-Chief, Mapi Mahlangu, and you heard her. There's a big reveal on the 16th of July. Let's take you to your weather next.